Hi, today's topic for discussion is theory of constraints. As Archimedes once said, if I can find a leverage point, I can move the earth. Now, TOC is a way for living this statement. Finding the leverage point means finding the constraints. If I know my constraints, I can definitely add very significant improvement in whatever I want to do. Now, what is TOC and how do we really work on that? Let's discuss that. Every system is expected to improve its performance relatively to its goal by increasing the flow of goal unit. Now, goal in TOC is nothing but money. The goal for TOC is making more and more money. So with the increase in the flow of the performance at a constraint point directly relates to the flow of overall system of the organization. Every system is limited by its constraints, and that constraints is what we are going to work for moving at. And flow that TOC talk about is called throughput. The flow or throughput is the same as the flow from the constraint. So in TOC we talk about three important abbreviations or the concepts. The first is throughput. So throughput, more the merrier. We all work to improve the throughput. The second is operating expenses. Lower, the better it is. So we work for reduction of operating expenses. Investment, of course, we all know we need to have the minimum investment as far as possible. Now to improve the performance of the system, performance at the constraint should be enhanced. So that is what TOC advocates. Now what is throughput? Throughput is sales minus truly variable expenses. Now what is this truly variable cost? Truly variable cost is nothing but the cost that we incur to produce one more unit of product, or the cost that we save by reducing one unit of production. Say we are producing 100 units and now we want to produce 99 units. So the cost that we save by reducing one unit of production is nothing but a truly variable cost. And throughput is sales minus truly variable cost. So this is how we calculate throughput. Throughput is going to be the base for TOC throughout the discussions. Now in TOC language, profit is throughput minus operating expenses. Operating expenses here are all expenses except the truly variable expenses. So we calculate profit by reducing the operating expenses from the throughput. Now another important aspect of TOC is ROI, which is nothing but return on investment. Return on investment here is profit divided by capital impact. So it's normally what we do in finding the ROI. Same is done in TOC as well. Now if we look at what TOC says, number one, TOC says that the constraints restricts performance of the system. The performance of the system is restricted by something which we call constraint in TOC. And constraints are also the opportunities. Archimedes just talk about the leverage points. So constraints are also the opportunities which, if removed, can definitely enhance the performance of the system. So there is a constraint also, and the same constraint you can see as an opportunity for leveraging. And the system, any system, is as strong as is the weakest link in that chain. So we need to know that weakest link, and that weakest link is nothing but we call is constraint in that system. Now we may say that it doesn't exist, the constraint doesn't exist in our system, but the fact remains that the constraints do exist no matter in what business we are operating in. Okay, so now we know what is constraint. Let's understand what are the 5 steps for focusing, removal and control of constraint. The first and the foremost important step is identifying the constraint. Now identifying the constraint is what is limiting us at the rate at which goal is to be achieved. So first identify that. Now the second thing is exploiting the constraint. Now this step involves looking at how the constraints can be improved using the existing resources. This could be something as better scheduling of the staff, as prioritizing incoming tasks, so that this constraint that we have identified is exploited to the maximum possible. Now the third step in this series is subordinating everything else to the constraint. By definition, non-constraint steps should have some slack. This can be used as support to improve the constraint's performance. So once you have identified, you have exploited and you have subordinated everything else to the constraint, then if you are not able to remove the constraint or take the constraint's performance to the desired level, the next thing that we do is to elevate the constraint. Now by elevating the constraint, what do you mean is you add extra capacity, you spend some money in terms of arranging the additional resources. It could be more staff, it could be adding more manpower, it could be sending the manpower for training, or adding the equipment per se. So that's required if you are not able to manage the constraint only by exploiting and subordinating. Once you have elevated the constraint, that means that constraint doesn't exist anymore. So now what we need to do is we need to identify another constraint which is now becoming a constraint in overall performance. Ali Golder warns against the inertia. Once some improvement has been achieved to the system, it's easy to get complacent, and normally we do not look for the net constraints, but we don't have to wait here, we don't have to stop here, we have to keep looking for the constraints thereafter. Theory of constraint is body of knowledge with the methodology that allows you to systematically and logically analyze undesirable effects to identify the systematic constraints, find a breakthrough idea to leverage that constraint, and to develop into full-fledged and robust system, and last but not the least, put it into action, because action is something which is the sense of everything. Now in TOC what we do, we first identify what to change, that means what is constraint. The second step is what to change to, that means how to eliminate the constraint. And the third and most important thing is how to actually make the change happen. Now for this, TOC comes up and gives you a methodology which has tools, which has templates, and which has the processes. Now if you look at what TOC actually is, TOC is mainly about the focus. Focusing your effort in the right place to achieve the maximum gain out of available situation. So that's the TOC. Understanding and managing constraints. A system optimal performance is not the sum of local optima. Any system that is performing as well as possible usually implies that not more than one part of the system is performing at the optimum level. As the constraint effective utilization increases, it may cease to be constrained and another process becomes constrained now. In that case, the emphasis now shifts to the new process, which is a constraint. It is also possible that a sales related change, product mix change, may cause a different process to become a constraint. Now if you try to understand TOC with the help of an example, best example which is shared by many of the TOC experts is of a team which goes for mountaineering or hiking. Many of you who have done mountaineering knows that in mountaineering you need to move in a team. Say a team of 6 students goes for mountaineering and they need to move together in a line so that nobody is left behind. Now when the team start moving, it's a team of 6 people, 6 students. When they start moving, they notice that 2 of them are moving ahead and the team with the 4 of them are lagging behind. Now the third person is a constraint as per our theory, because he is the one who is stopping the flow. So that is identification of a constraint is done when you understand that 2 are taking a lead and 4 of them are lagging behind. Now how do you subordinate this constraint now? This third person is put in the first position as a leader, because the weakest person in the chain is strength of the chain itself. So he is now leading, so this means subordinating everything else to constraint. But this is not the purpose. The purpose is to leverage maximum out of the system. That means the team should move at the maximum speed. Then third process is elevating this constraint. How do you do that? We identified that the third person, who is now the leader, he must be walking slow. Why? He may be having bad kind of shoes, he may be carrying more weight, he may be a person with a short height. So whatever we can do to reduce his capability, to improve his capability or reduce his incapability, share the load that he is carrying, give him better shoes, motivate him to move faster. So that's the way you do elevation for that constraints. So I think with this example we should be able to understand TOC concept a little better. Now let's come back to TOC implementation in our industry, which is textile industry. Particularly if you look at any spinning plant, you have card, comber, simplex, ring frame, finishing, and then you ship it out. Now if you look at the capacity, normally of a 10 ton mill, the capacity of card, comber, simplex is little more than ring frame, and ring frame is 10, and thereafter finishing and shipment are constrained by 10 tons. So in this particular case, you identify ring frame as a constraint. In TOC, this constraint is called drum. Now for implementing TOC in operations, we use a technique which is called drum buffer row. Now drum being ring frame, and there is a buffer before the ring frame, after the simplex. Now this buffer is nothing but it ensures that the drum do not stop and it operates at its full capacity. That's why this buffer is created. There is a minimum inventory of 8 hours that we usually keep, and if there is some stoppage in the first and the second process, the buffer keeps on reducing, and there is a mechanism which sends the signals to the first process to release the material. Now this mechanism is called row. So there is a drum which defines the pace, there is a buffer which ensures that the drum doesn't stop, and this row in turn ensures that there is enough of buffer which is kept in this. Now this is in the case when you have a single buffer. There could be a case when you have more than one constraints, and that case you also have multiple time buffers. In our case, let's take example of blended yarns, where cotton comes from one process and the other fiber, say polyester, comes from the other process. Normally in blended yarns, in cotton process, lap former is a constraint, so I have taken that as a constraint. Now lap former gives as a constraint unit output to the draw frame, and polyester from the other line is little ahead of the schedule. So we create a time buffer there which helps you to get the maximum performance. Now if we look at the application of theory of operations, of course in operations it is theory of constraint is fully applied, and we call it drum buffer row. In financing and accounting, it gives the different measurements to work on. It talks on throughput rather than a typical contribution analysis that we do. In project management, the critical chain method CCM is a way which is very useful. It talks about a fever chart, it talks about buffer management, and project management is helped by this tool. In sales and marketing, Wiley Golder talks about irresistible offer or mafia offer, which helps you to customize your sales talk or sales offer or product offer to the customers. Now TOC is not something which is applicable only to operations or project or marketing or finance. In day-to-day life, we every day find TOC usable. Now the typical cases of the COVID days, we all are constrained. Now this time the constraint is unique. You can't move out. You are locked down. You are suffering constraint because accessibility of transportation, accessibility of moving or physical movement or physical meeting is not there. Initially we all must have felt that this is a big constraint, and slowly we find a way to do it. Zoom is another option, team from Microsoft is another option. Lot many things have come up, and we all have started working and adjusting ourselves to adjust in this COVID environment. The COVID environment also gives us a big challenge in terms of what to manufacture and what to sell. Typical standard costing or the tool that we use to address that what to produce. In this particular case, throughput comes a very, very handy tool. And invariably, all the management, including us, have been using this. If we earn anything beyond variable cost, we go for accepting an order. So that's the applicability that we have of TOC in our day-to-day life. TOC has been implemented by many companies. They're listed in thousands. But initially, one of the very successful implementation was by Ford Motor Company. It happened in the year 1988 to 1991. Ford Motor Company at that point of time was a $3 billion company, and the tool they used was DBR, drum buffer row. It had very unique achievements. They eliminated their lead time by around 60%. They improved their on-time delivery OTIF by 20%, and it reached 98%, and they also reduced their inventories and investment by more than 40%. So if you look at in our case, say in Satluj also, we have been using TOC in many ways in managing our operations, by taking decisions. And we need to keep on looking at the constraint in our performance and try to work on eliminating that constraint so that organizations can unleash the potential that they have in this. Thank you.